Remember the good old days before the NFL tried to own Thursdays and ACC Thursday Night Football was the biggest deal in town? This game would have been huge. Still is huge. It's just a lot of the casual football watching fans will be watching Commanders-Packers. First of all, Wake Forest brings an interesting challenge for the state defense. Okay, and I'm not talking slow mesh. It's a new era of Wake Forest. They've changed up their playbook, brought in a different style, more traditional style of offense. But I do like what Jake Dickert has done in the backfield. Jake Dickert being the new head coach of Wake, as far as if you know you're likely to be overmatched. Right, you had to turn over the roster. Maybe you didn't. You don't have a chance to build up the organizational depth that you were hoping for. If you know you're going to be overmatched, I think the number one way you can try, like the number one slingshot for David against Goliath, and not saying this is David versus Goliath, but just hear me out. If I know I'm going to have to be making up some talent gaps, I want speed. Right, because in football traditionally, the more talented team is going to be basically given every advantage the longer drives go on. Eventually, the better team will make the play. Eventually, they will grind you into submission. Eventually, they will, like a metronome, be able to win the game or win the quarter, win the drive. But if you have a couple of guys that if they get a crease, they're housing it, you only got to win one play, right? You only need to win 3 or 4 plays throughout a game to make it a different challenge. So if you look at Wake Forest, Damon Claiborne, Robbie Ashford in the backfield, if this is going to be a game that Wake Forest is super excited about when they wake up tomorrow, I think those guys are going to have to, get those 3 or 4 plays. Robbie Ashford, their new quarterback. Damon Claiborne, obviously the returning running back. And we have some audio from Dave Doeren about playing against Robbie Ashford at the quarterback position. This is what the coach of NC State had to say.
Yeah, he's fast. I mean, just turn on the Western Carolina film. He's got like a 60-yard touchdown run. And he runs aggressive. He's not like some quarterbacks. I mean, he's going to run like a running back when he goes north and south. He's 220 pounds. And so we're going to have to tackle him like we tackle everybody in this game. He's a physical cat, and they run him. It's not a guy that they're trying to protect. You can see that they're not bashful about him carrying the football.
That sounds like a lot of praise. And by the way, that was from Wolfpack Weekly, which airs weekly right here on 99.9 The Fan. That audio is from Wolfpack Weekly. And then the other thing you got to acknowledge is if you're chasing aggressively Robbie Ashford and you know I'm going to have a gang tackle there, multiple guys in pursuit because Robbie Ashford is big. He's a physical cat. He's you got to tackle him like a running back. The moment you commit too many resources to him is when Claiborne will be going the opposite direction. It is an assignment football. It is a making tackles football game. And sometimes by yourself in space against good runners. Mike Glennon, who is my co-host for Pack Therapy, the podcast, which can be found everywhere podcasts can be found, including the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. So go check out the 99.9 The Fan app. You can get a ton of NC State content, including the Pack Therapy podcast, co-hosted by me and Mike Glennon, legendary NC State quarterback. But I always ask once a week, I ask Mike to finish out the if-then statement. If blank happens, then either if NC State is an underdog, NC State will win. And if NC State is the favorite, I say if blank happens, then NC State will win and cover, which at the time was a 7.5-point spread. And the answer was if they can, meaning State's defense, can hold Wake Forest to, I think it was under 3 explosive runs, big runs. If they can do that, State will win and cover. And I tend to agree with that. The other thing about this State season thus far, and they've played 2 games, won them both, down to the wire, ECU, UVA, and now they're going in a short week on the road to Wake Forest. There's a theme that has popped up in different aspects of the games already. It's building and or losing trust within a game, okay? What a coach is comfortable doing in the fourth quarter as far as decision-making is oftentimes informed by how you've played the first 3 quarters. And this was a conversation that we did have on the podcast, so I encourage you to check it out in long form. But it started with me having like a flashback to my playing career where I said I used to get so mad at myself when I messed up like 4 verts, which is a deep passing play, right? Because if you make a bad decision, throw an interception, take a bad sack on 4 verts, the coach is less likely to call it in the future, and that's a really fun play to run. So as a quarterback, you mess up on a fun play, you get mad at yourself because you're like, man, they're not going to call it again. And then we stumbled into that exact situation against ECU. If you recall, there was a 3rd down against ECU early in the 4th quarter where they did call a version of 4 verts. It was kind of like a switch. Anyway, a deep passing play. C.J. Bailey took a sack, pushed them further out on the field goal. Field goal missed. Move on, right? Later on in the game, they have the opportunity to have a 3rd down, and what happens? They don't call a deep passing play. They aren't aggressive. They go quarterback draw. I think that is a direct result of trust not earned on a previous 3rd down. Okay, now go to last week's game, all right, where they played against UVA and got the win. And think about it like this. Week 1 against ECU, State did a less than stellar job opening up lanes in the running game. They were not winning in the trenches. They were not giving Hollywood Smothers, yards before contact. They were not moving the line of scrimmage a yard, 2 yards towards the defense at the snap of the ball. But against UVA, they were opening up holes in the running game. The offensive line played much better. Hollywood Smothers was given chances to get in space. He converted those into big runs, had 140-some-odd rushing yards, 150-some-odd total yards, right? So the offensive line over the first 3 quarters was playing a more physical brand of football. So now in the 4th quarter, you have a 4th and short on your own 28-yard line and a 4-point lead. Dave Doeren and Kurt Roper have a decision to make, head coach, offensive coordinator. What do they decide to do? Bully ball. They put in their power running quarterback, Will Wilson, and they run straight at the defense for a 1st down on 4th and short. Another example of the first 3 quarters, you earn trust. In the 4th quarter, the coaches embrace that trust and give you a chance to make a big play. It works in both directions, right? If you do well by something early on, they're going to let you go out and win a game late. If you don't take advantage or you don't earn that trust early on, they're going to be more conservative later on in the game. So if this one is back and forth, if this one is close, State at Wake Forest, right? If this is a game that, like so many in this rivalry have been, if it is within 1 score, and you want NC State to be aggressive and to look for that killer instinct and to look for that knockout blow late in the game, what you need to have happen is to have the players earn that right earlier in the game. Because it appears as if, and it's a very small sample size, and I'm only using 2 examples, but there are more. It appears as if the State coaches very much kind of let the players decide. All right, if you want us to go for it on 4th, show us that you're going to be a powerful football team. All right, if you want to chuck it on 3rd down and you want to take a chance at going to get that 1st down and swaying the momentum, make good decisions on 3rd down earlier in the game. It's about earning the trust. And then obviously the same thing happens over a season long, right? If you do great in weeks 1 through 4, week 6, they're more likely to trust you. You earn the trust of the coaching staff.